How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, author Dale Carnegie. Subtitles by freebooksummary. Chapter 1. What are the dangers of anxiety? Anxiety is a serious disease that kills more people than any other. If you value your life, learn to control your anxiety and get rid of it. Stress, fears, and excess nervous excitement cause many serious diseases such as hypertension, heart disease, gastrointestinal disease, not to mention nervous and mental disorders. Dr. Kober, chief internists of the Gulf of Mexico, Colorado and Santa Fe Hospital Association, believed that 70% of patients could cure themselves of their ailments if they knew how to get rid of their fears and control their anxiety levels. People who lead busy lives, such as administrative workers, are much more prone to heart disease and nervous disorders than, say, agricultural laborers. Is promotion worth the price? Will you enjoy life more if you lose control of your time and live under perpetual stress? Chapter 2. Basic rules of mental balance. Every day has its own care. Live today, without worrying about the past and possible future problems. A person cannot change the past or conceptualize the future, but we can do the necessary work today. Imagine Nan as a liner, each compartment of which can be isolated in case of danger, and try to separate the past and the future from the actual pressing tasks with impenetrable partitions. Life is a continuous movement and change. Today is unique and we must recognize its value. Live each day as if it were your last. Success will only be achieved by those who have realized the fruitlessness of worrying about everything outside the circle of immediate concerns. Carpe diem, wrote the ancient Roman poet Horace, urging to make the most of every day of one's life and not to put off living life to the fullest for an uncertain future. We all love to dream about the future, putting off the realization of plans for later. But a bright future will never come if you passively wait for it. You can get more out of life by thinking about the present moment. Of course, you need to prepare for tomorrow. However, the best preparation for the future is to do today's work well. Concentrate on solving immediate tasks successfully as possible, and perhaps you will prevent future problems. Don't try to do everything at once, no matter how urgent things may seem to you. Plan your work based on constructive cause and effect analysis. Just as an hourglass has only one grain of sand going through the hole at any given time, you can only do one thing at a time if it requires concentration. Accept the circumstances. By accepting the status quo, we free up mental energy to deal with them. Carrier developed a method that allows you to quickly overcome anxiety and get out of difficult situations in 3 steps. Calmly think about the situation and imagine the worst possible scenario. What would that get you? A reprimand? Losing your job? Accept that it could happen. It will help you calm down. It's better to mentally accept the worst than to be tormented by the fear of the unknown. For example, I'm going to lose this job, but I'll find another one. Calmly consider your options for dealing with the problem. How can you prevent this worst-case scenario from happening? Once you get rid of the panicky feeling, you will be able to act more rationally. Analyze your problems. Anxiety comes in many forms. To successfully deal with it, you need to learn how to analyze it. If you have a problem, you first of all need to conceptualize it. Without sufficient information, it is impossible to make the right decision. Gather the facts. A problem may only seem big and unsolvable due to lack of information. Facts are easier to analyze if you put them on paper. The very attempt to formulate the problem helps to conceptualize it. Let go of your emotions and try to evaluate the information objectively. If you find it difficult to do this, try to imagine that you are collecting information for someone else. For example, imagine yourself as a lawyer collecting data for a client. In this case, you will not ignore unpleasant facts. Once you realize exactly what is bothering you, decide what you can do about the situation. After considering the options for action, as well as their possible consequences, choose the best plan of action. Once the decision has been made, the only thing left to do is to implement it. Set a firm deadline for the implementation of the decision. Do not look back and do not doubt. Leon Shinkin managed to solve the problem of meetings that took up half of the working time and did not bring results by using this rule. Before stating a problem, an employee should formulate what it is, explain its causes, propose several solutions, and choose the best one. In his opinion, it turned out that in the process of collecting and processing information, the employee usually finds a solution on his own, and there is no need to discuss the problem at a meeting. Chapter 3. How to overcome the habit of worry. Be always busy. Any activity that requires concentration makes you forget about other problems. Try thinking about vacation plans and ways to calculate inflation at the same time. You can do it alternately, but not together. The same thing happens at the level of emotions. While feeling proud and excited about a successful project, we can feel depressed and anxious at the same time. Many people who have gone through difficult life situations claim that it is work that helps to distract from difficult memories, cures doubts, and gives a sense of purpose in life. Practicing doctors come to the same conclusions. Labor is the cheapest medicine and the most effective. Asa Johnson, a famous traveler, was in a plane crash, lost her husband, and found herself bedridden. 3 months after the accident, she was already moving around in a wheelchair and lecturing to huge audiences. When asked why she was doing this, she replied, "So that I don't have time to worry." Don't worry about nothing. We are ready to show courage in difficult situations, to solve complex problems, but we get upset because of a broken cup or an unsuccessful gift from a colleague. Stop exaggerating the role of small things. Just forget about them. Do not waste yourself on nonsense, which you will not even remember in a couple of years. Remember, a huge oak tree can withstand a storm, but can be undermined by insects. In order not to let trifles ruin your life, you just need to give yourself the attitude of pleasure. Why are we so annoyed? For example, rattling radiator in the apartment. We enjoy the crackling of twigs in the fire during a picnic, don't we? These sounds are similar. Imagine that it is a bonfire and it evokes pleasant emotions in you. Devote your time to worthy people, strong feelings, and worthwhile pursuits. Life is too short to waste it on trivial things. Don't worry about things that are not likely to happen at all. If we could step back from our fears and analyze them, we would likely see how unfounded they are. Insurance companies make millions off of our habits of worrying about things that are actually quite unlikely to happen. To avoid worrying about a possible earthquake, fire, or train wreck, follow the law of large numbers. Statistics can help you understand how justified your fears are. Are you afraid of being in a railroad accident? Become the victim of a terrorist attack. Calculate how likely it is that this misfortune will happen to you. You'll see that the odds are very slim. So, is it worth worrying about? Accept the things you cannot change. Not everything in the world depends on our will or diligence. Sometimes, you're faced with a choice: either accept the inevitable and continue to live with it, or protest, exhausting ourselves, but not achieving results. Accepting the situation is the first step to overcoming unhappiness. By protesting, by denying, we only aggravate the situation and harm our own health. We are stronger than we think. We have inner life resources. And it is not the circumstances of life that make us happy or unhappy, but our attitude to them. A person who lost a finger in childhood does not grieve about it all his life. He learns to make do with the rest and forgets about the absence of one. John Milton argued that blindness is not so terrible as the inability to bear it. It is not a matter of humility or giving up the fight. If you have even the slightest chance to change the situation, by all means use it. But if nothing can be changed, why torture yourself in vain? An English nursery rhyme teaches us simple worldly wisdom in this world. There is no escape, there's salvation, or there isn't. If there is, find it. If you don't have it, don't care. By accepting the inevitable, we release the energy needed to live on. By resisting the inevitable, we destroy ourselves. Hard tires that resist the impact of the road are torn to shreds by the road. Modern rubber tires absorb shocks and last for years. Don't persevere in a hopeless endeavor. When you want something hard to achieve, ask yourself, how much do you need it? What price are you willing to pay for it? Experts recommend that stock market players set a loss limiter. For example, a stock bought for $50 should be sold if its price falls below $45. Losses in this case will be limited to 5 points. A similar limiter should be placed on other risky ventures. How much of your life are you willing to give up to realize your plans? You will have to pay with your time, health, peace of mind of your loved ones. And if the goal is not conquered, determine the limit beyond which you will not go. Dale Carnegie, the author of the book, dreamed of becoming a writer. After several unsuccessful attempts to publish a novel, he realized he had overestimated his writing talents, shifted his focus to other goals, and succeeded. If you did not pass in the theater school at the 8th attempt, maybe it makes sense to try yourself in another field. In any case, it will depend on how important this goal is for you personally. The key to peace of mind is in the correct assessment of values. Determine what is really important to you. Don't let false or erroneous assessments control your actions. Benjamin Franklin as a child longed for a whistle. One day, having saved up some coppers, he gave them all in a store for a whistle, without even asking about its price. As it turned out, he had grossly overpaid. Franklin's annoyance was so great that he remembered the incident for the rest of his life. Don't overpay for your whistle. Develop the right evaluation criteria. The limit or principle can be used in a variety of life circumstances. If you are worried about a buddy's constant tardiness, determine how long you are willing to wait and announce it to him. How long are you willing to hold old grudges or worry about failure? Set a limiter. Say to yourself, this is worth worrying about for exactly this long and not a day more. It's a shame if you lost your grandfather clock. But it's even worse if that loss throws you off balance and causes you to make many more blunders. You have to stop at some point. You don't have to make a fist after a fight. You can't change what happened. What happened can be comprehended. Analyze their own mistakes so that they do not repeat them. After that, they should be forgotten. There are no people who do not make mistakes. Even Napoleon lost battles. No matter how upsetting it seems to you happened event, do not dwell on it. It is better to focus on plans for the future. Move forward. What's fallen is lost. Proverbs contain the age-old wisdom of mankind. Do not complain about their banality, but put them into practice. Do not sow sawdust. It has already been sown. Chapter 4. How to develop a constructive mindset. Think positively. Our character is determined by the way we think. Happiness and peace of mind do not depend on external circumstances, but on how we perceive them. People can change their lives simply by changing their attitudes. Napoleon, who for many is a symbol of success, claimed that he was never happy for 6 days in his life. And Helen Keller, who was deaf-blind, considered life to be the greatest gift of all. We suffer because of our own assessment of circumstances, but the assessment depends on us, and we can change it by willpower. It is difficult to control our moods, but we can control our actions. And actions and feelings are connected. Try just smiling, and you'll be revitalized. Sing a cheerful song and your despondency will gradually fade away. This does not mean that you should ignore difficulties and problems. Problems need to be solved or prevented, but you don't need to worry about them. When crossing the street, you will look first left and then right each time to avoid being hit by a car. This is a reasonable precaution, but once you cross the road, you won't worry about it anymore, will you? Set yourself up for success. Remember that your mindset has a huge impact on your physical abilities. English psychiatrist J. Hadfield conducted an experiment to determine the physical strength of patients, subjects of equal average ability, who were told before the experiment that they were very strong, performed almost 5 times better than those who were told of their weakness. Let's fight for our happiness with constructive thinking. To do this, Carnegie suggests a 10-point program to follow every day. When you wake up in the morning, say to yourself, "Today I will be happy. Happiness is within me. I accept my life as it is. I will take care of my physical health. I will eat right. I will exercise. I will develop my intellectual abilities. I will read something useful. Practice my memory and attention. I will take care of my moral improvement. I will help someone. I will cultivate willpower. I will not offend anyone. I will be benevolent. I will not try to anticipate or solve all cases at once. Each day will have its own care. I will make a program of things to do. Specify the time when I will do them. I will take time for myself. Learn to relax. I know I am loved. I am not afraid of anything. Learn to forgive and forget grudges. By hating our enemies, we hurt ourselves. Anger, frustration, and resentment can cause hypertension and other diseases, and add wrinkles to women. Our enemies would like us to worry, so let's not give them the satisfaction. Ignore them. A grizzly bear, the strongest animal in America, would never mess with a skunk. He knows he'll cause trouble for himself. Do the same for 2-legged skunks who would like to poison your life. Do not respond to evil with evil. A meek response will help extinguish anger. No one can humiliate, insult, or harass us unless we allow it. Do not answer evil with evil. A meek response will help to extinguish the anger. No one can humiliate, insult, or harass us unless we allow it. In order to ignore petty grudges, we should be engaged in important, serious business. Then petty feuds will not matter. Lincoln was attacked and insulted more than any other politician in American history, but he was never motivated by personal motives when he judged people. Don't expect gratitude. You should not be offended or resentful that someone has behaved differently. and you would have liked. Only people with a high level of moral development are capable of showing gratitude. Therefore, it is better not to expect gratitude, but if you receive it, it will be a pleasant surprise. Christ once healed 10 lepers, and only one returned to thank him. People haven't changed much in the past 2 millennia. You can't get acceptance and love by demanding it from others, thinking they are obligated to give it to us. You can only earn love by giving it unselfishly, without expecting anything in return. Help people, for the inner joy it will bring you. Do not forget to show gratitude yourself. Appreciate kindness in people. Teach your children gratitude by example. Appreciate what you have. Do not count your troubles, but rather count your good fortune. Evaluate impartially what you had and what you are not happy with. You will see that there is much more good. So why dwell on annoying trifles and ignore the bright and joyful? For a happy life, it is necessary not only to achieve your goals, but also to be happy with what you have achieved. We fret over uncomfortable shoes until we meet someone who has no feet, but that doesn't stop him from enjoying life. How much are your eyes or hands worth? How much do you care about your loved ones? You are fabulously rich. Appreciate that wealth. Be yourself. Trying to play other people's roles is the cause of many complexes and neuroses. Don't try to pretend to be someone you're not, and don't do business with people who do. Never imitate anyone. Find yourself and be yourself. You are unique. Rejoice in that and play your own part in the play of life. Young actors coming to Hollywood dream of becoming a second Clark Gable, not realizing that no one wants a second Clark Gable. American composer Berlin, impressed by the talent of young Gershwin, offered him a place as a secretary, but warned that under his influence he could become a second-rate Berlin. Gershwin declined the offer and became a first-rate Gershwin. Turn trouble to your advantage. A strong and successful person knows how to turn disadvantages into advantages. Instead of bemoaning adversity, think about what lesson you can learn from it and how you can make it work for you. It's easy to capitalize on success, but only a smart and strong-willed person can benefit from loss. Victory comes as a result of overcoming. Many great people have achieved success because they had to overcome obstacles. If fate slips you a lemon, make lemonade out of it. A farmer purchased a piece of land that was unsuitable for traditional forms of agriculture because of the abundance of rattlesnakes. He turned a disadvantage into a plus and began canning snake meat. The venom was sold in the lab, the skin was used for handbags, and the farm was visited by thousands of tourists. The venture was super successful. Do good. The best way to win friends is to take a genuine interest in people and help them. Try to make someone happier every day. There are hundreds of people around you. Just show them attention and sympathy, so you will think less about yourself and quickly cure yourself of melancholy. Doing good to others is not a duty, but a joy. This is what all religious thinkers teach. Jung claimed that about a third of his patients suffered not from neuroses, but from a sense of emptiness and meaninglessness in life. While they wait for outside help, life passes them by. In the meantime, other people are waiting for help or support from you. Chapter 5. How not to worry about criticism. Unwarranted criticism can be taken as a hidden compliment. The more significant a person is, the more significant his achievements, the more often he is criticized. To insult a successful person for people petty and envious means to equalize with him. To feel more significant. No achievements, no envy. Do not take criticism to heart. You cannot forbid criticizing yourself, but you can decide how you will react to undeserved criticism. If you know you are doing the right thing, don't let the attacks of detractors prevent you from acting. A sense of humor, composure, and a sense of rightness will allow you to emerge victorious. Do not be afraid to admit your own mistakes and stupidity. Keep a list of your mistakes and constantly remind yourself of your own imperfection. A healthy self-esteem is essential to managing yourself. Look back on your failures and honestly admit that you are the only one to blame for them. Become your own harshest critic. Identify your weaknesses and fight them. Having finished his work, Darwin spent another 15 years checking and refining the data. After that, he was ready for any criticism. Criticism is not tolerated by a petty person. A wise person is always happy to learn and improve. If the criticism is constructive and expressed by an intelligent person, listen to it. Overcome your ego, and you will benefit for yourself. Ask them to point out your mistakes. There are sensible, experienced, and impartial people around you. Their help will be very helpful. Everyone does stupid things. The great thinker Einstein believed that his conclusions were 99% wrong. You are not necessarily right either. Chapter 6. How to fight fatigue. Fatigue lowers the body's resistance. Relaxation, on the other hand, helps fight anxiety. Rest more often. Rest before you get tired. Fatigue can build up. Rest is a kind of repair for the body. Sometimes a 5-minute nap is enough to restore your energy. Frederick Taylor cites such data in his book Principles of Scientific Management. The average loader is able to load no more than 12.5 tons of pig iron per day, and by noon falls from fatigue. However, if you give the worker the opportunity to rest often, by stopwatch measuring the time of work and rest, he can load 47 tons and fatigue much less. Engaging in mental labor cannot tire you out by itself. Toxins accumulate in the blood of a person tired from physical labor. In a person engaged in mental labor, as experiments show, nothing of the sort happens. The brain doesn't get tired. The feeling of fatigue can be caused by emotional and mental state. Negative emotions that cause tension, such as boredom, resentment, dissatisfaction with the result. If you are constantly distracted, do not let you finish what you started. You get irritated and tired of the work not done. And when everything goes as it should, you feel satisfaction, not fatigue. It's not the work itself that makes us tired, but the way we do it, an uncomfortable posture. For example, fatigue comes from muscle tension. We believe that hard work requires tension, so we frown, hunch over, and tense our muscles in other ways. This does not help us do the job well in any way, but it does make us feel tired. To combat fatigue, you need to learn to relax. The muscles of the eyes especially need relaxation. They consume up to 1/4 of all nervous energy. After finishing the paragraph, lean back in your chair, close your eyes and order them to relax. If you do this for a minute, you will feel that gradually your eyes begin to obey you. You can try to relax other muscles in the same way. A few recommendations that will help you master the art of relaxation. Relax more often. Accustoming your body to being soft and pliable. Sit comfortably while working. It's uncomfortable postures that make you tired. Check 4 to 5 times a day to see if you are tensing muscles that are not helping you do your work. Monitor the effort you are exerting. At the end of the day, ask yourself how tired you are. Feeling tired is an indicator of ineffective performance. How homemaker can avoid fatigue. It is helpful to sometimes ease your soul by talking to someone about your problems. Attempting to verbalize anxiety leads to making sense of it. It is this principle that lies at the heart of psychoanalysis. Of course, you should not bore others, but it is good to have someone, a friend, relative, doctor, or lawyer who is ready to listen to you and provide emotional support, even if he cannot give the right advice. If you don't have such a person, try other ways. Write out or paste inspirational quotes, poems, or novel excerpts into a special notebook. In a difficult moment, you'll find the right words there to encourage you. Focus on other people's strengths rather than their weaknesses, especially when it comes to your own husband. Show interest in others around you, e.g., neighbors. Socializing with others will help you not to dwell on your own problems. Make a list of things that need to be done and see them through to completion. When you realize how much you are accomplishing, you will have a reason to be proud of yourself. Make time to take care of your appearance. When a woman knows she is beautiful, she feels calmer and happier. Don't be tired. You have the advantage that at any moment you can lie down and rest, or do some relaxing exercises. Work habits that will help you do more and not get tired. If you want to increase your efficiency, clear your desk of anything that is not relevant to the work you are doing at the moment. The sight of memos, emails waiting to be answered, and other reminders of things you can't attend to right away can cause stress on its own. Do the important things right away. Solve problems as they arise. Don't put them off until later. And don't keep a pile of unnecessary papers. Plan your day. Organize tasks in a plan according to their importance. This approach is always better than improvisation. Set clear goals. Bernard Shaw had a rule to write at least 5 pages a day and always stuck to it, without referring to inspiration. When a problem comes up, immediately determine if you have the means to solve it. Give it your full attention and decide immediately whether you need to take action. Gather more information or ignore the problem, and only then shift your attention to the next problem. Do not leave unresolved tasks, and you will get rid of the feeling of anxiety about them. Don't try to do everything yourself. Share authority. Distribute responsibilities and supervise their fulfillment. You cannot do everything alone, even if you work 24 hours a day, but you can easily bring yourself to a nervous breakdown. How to overcome boredom. Fatigue depends more on emotional state than on physical exertion. We rarely get tired doing something interesting and meaningful. If you like to collect mushrooms, you are ready to walk kilometers through the forest. A young girl can dance all night and not feel tired. If you have a boring job, make it interesting. Sometimes it is enough to change your psychological attitude and start treating it differently. Think about the people who would want the job. Act as if you like it. A positive attitude will help you accept her. Remember when Tom Sawyer sold his friends the right to whitewash the fence? All he needed to do to get them interested was to present the case in a different light. Why you shouldn't worry about insomnia. Worrying about lack of sleep will do you far more harm than the lack of sleep itself. Insomnia cannot kill you. Nature will just take its course. But anxiety, including because of insomnia, reduces the body's resistance to various diseases. Representations about the need for 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day. A common misconception. People need different amounts of sleep. Napoleon, Margaret Thatcher, Nikola Tesla slept only 4 hours a day during their scientific endeavors. During World War I, German soldier Paul Kern lost the ability to sleep altogether as a result of a wound to the frontal lobe of the brain, but lived after that for many years, retaining the ability to work and excellent health. Experiments show that people who complain about lack of sleep actually sleep more than they think they do. They just don't notice when they sink into sleep. To fight insomnia, you need to learn to relax. The best remedy for insomnia is physical fatigue. Increase your physical activity and the problem will be solved. Conclusion. Dale Carnegie wrote this book as a practical guide for his students. It is as simple as it is effective. The book contains no amazing discoveries or unexpected recipes. Just simple truths seemingly known to everyone for a long time. These time-tested truths are put together and backed up by the real stories of many people. They prove that it is possible to find a way out of the most difficult situations, that our problems are not unique at all. Many people managed to successfully fight them and overcome them. Worry is deadly. In order to start living, you need to get rid of it. Remember how important your mental balance is to you. Appreciate each day as if it were your last. Don't waste yourself on burdensome memories or fruitless dreams. Live in the now. Reflect on your problems, analyze them based on the information you've gathered. Once you have chosen the best solution, act without delay. To overcome the habit of worrying, occupy yourself with useful, constructive work. Ignore annoying little things. Do not waste yourself on trifles. Don't fight the inevitable. Accept what you can't change. Assess values correctly. Don't invest too much energy in things you don't really need. Do not fight with the past. It cannot be changed. The key to mental balance is a positive attitude to life. Our happiness is determined not by external circumstances, but by our attitude to them. Set yourself up for success, and it will come. Do not keep old offenses. Be attentive to those around you. Show gratitude, but do not expect it from others. Helping people is happiness in itself. Appreciate what you have. Recognize your uniqueness and always be yourself. Do not be afraid of obstacles. Remember, an obstacle can become a springboard. Make the most of losses and disappointments. Do not be afraid of criticism. If you are confident in the correctness of the chosen path, do not let detractors interfere with you. But take meaningful criticism with gratitude. Be critical of your own achievements. No one is immune to mistakes, not even you. Do not let fatigue unite with anxiety and take over you. Rest more often. Learn how to relax properly. Proper organization of work will allow you to do more and with less. And most importantly, love what you do, so your labor will become much more effective. These recommendations will help you get rid of what prevents you from succeeding and enjoying life. But just reading the book is not enough. You will have to go back to it, reread it, think about it, connect what you read with your own experience, and make sure to put these principles into practice. Thank you all for listening to the end. If you liked it, don't forget to rate and subscribe to the channel. You can buy the full version of the book at the link in the description.